And then we'll talk about your screenplay, your book, and all this stuff. And we'll be back in about 2.5 minutes. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. Don't forget, Friday is Scary Friday night. And we have Jason Offit on. We're going to talk about monsters, cryptids, like all over the country, all different type of, sightings and reports of monsters. So make sure you tune in tomorrow between 6 and 9 p.m., 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. We'll be right back. And you're listening to Chad Meek, James Chrisbaum, and me, Gary, on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark.
What we are asking for from the government is full disclosure. We know what we're seeing, and there are so many of them. We're not
As I gaze upon the arrows of time, one thing that comes through: we are not alone in this universe. It's a thought that rings true. Ancient cave dwellers drew spacecraft on the walls. It's a recurring theme. I've seen the same thing while walking late at night, and I know it's not a dream.
From Malmstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea.
If you tell the truth, they will ridicule everything you say and do. It's all part of a deception. It's a puppet master's tool. And I've seen those craft shut down the silos from 10 miles away. And there ain't nothing that the Pentagon can do. They can't make them go away.
From Malmstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea. From Malmstrom to Manhattan, New York to LA, you can't get the picture if they're pale or they're gray. But what we have seen might not be what it seems when the government's shadows dance in the sea.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You are listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio Network, from our compound to you worldwide, with your host, Gary Anderson.
And I do want to thank Metatron Power and Light. They're the ones that made that song called Disclosure. You really listen to it. They really put a lot of heart and soul into that music, and it actually is so true. Well, hey, James, Chad, are you guys still there?
Still here, and that song is catchy.
Oh, I know. I started singing.
I love it. I know. I like that song. That's a good one. Gosh.
Kind of hits home, doesn't
it?
Yeah.
It does. It really. It's well done, though. I mean, it is. James, you hit the nail on the head. That it is catchy. It definitely. It's that. So yeah, I think, where can I buy that one?
And you know, it's
that's good.
The lead singer is a retired police officer. He's older even than me, and I thought I was old. He's 70, and they're cranking out this music and all of it. You know, they got music on witchcraft, you know, aliens and all this stuff. They're just cranking this stuff out, and I love it. But you know, I think about, you know, we were talking about us. I think our planet, we're a baby, and I think I think we've been regenerated, rebooted numerous times on this planet. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 times. So if people have to be pretty naive, if they think of all those galaxies out there, and they keep finding new ones, right? And new solar systems and planets, that we're the only ones that have any human life, or humanoid life. I just don't buy that.
Well, there's 100 billion planetary bodies in every galaxy times 100 billion. Do the math. There's got to be intelligent life somewhere, definitely.
You know, Chad, what I find shows like Star Wars, Star Trek, all these type of shows, Babylon 5, they brainwash us what these aliens look like. And the thing is, we have no idea what these aliens really look like. We don't know what their motives are. Are there? You know, I've had people say, oh, gee, you know, that these aliens, there's one race of aliens that has 25 million spaceships circulating Earth to protect Earth from the bad, evil aliens. Okay, and this person was a doctor, you know, PhD. I don't buy that. I can tell you that. But you know what? I have seen photographs that were uploaded to me from a person that worked in the government. And these pictures showed mutilations of humans. And when I saw that about a year ago, I just actually took them off my computer here a few days ago. I just couldn't stand even have them on my computer anymore. It made me so nauseous that I could not even sleep. Now, when I look at those and the cattle mutilations and these human mutilations, it scares me because, you know, I do think there's all different agendas out there. But I have had Mary Joyce on here, who runs a UFO reporting center out of Cashiers, North Carolina. Where she lives at, there is a huge underground military base. And about a year or two ago, a guy came up to her, a government employee with the highest, you know, top secret clearances you can have. Now, she checked the guy out. She used to be reporters for, remember when there was newspapers still around? She was an editor for some newspapers, a reporter for newspapers for years. She checked this guy out, and he claims that, or did claim to her, that in this underground base, there's aliens giving military technology to our government in exchange, well, for they can have a barbecue. That's a simple way to put it.
Mm.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, we've been, you know, the Germans, of course, you know, they were doing medical experiments on people. So it's not, there's nothing new under the sun. It's not unprecedented, you know, as far as this. Getting back to it, and this is a real positive thing, though. I mean, this is why, you know, I chafe at the old artificial intelligence, which I get into that with Giant Rock, too. You know, you get into the old artificial intelligence and synthetic beings and what have you. We are literally, I mean, if you treat your body correctly, and it doesn't become adulterated, and what have you, and it's really tricky to get there, and I'm working diligently trying to do this as far as with diet, with meditation, what have you. We literally have one of the most perfect biomechanical bodies, call it whatever it is. I mean, we literally are possessors of that. You know, our spirits basically are already embedded in this thing, and literally, I mean, this is something of extraordinary value. You know, as far as this is, and yet we don't even understand how it. For the most part, science still hasn't figured it all out as far as how it really works. They're still in the guessing format. They think they know, but they don't. But if you know, like a lot of people view like for instance, the brain, the heart as separate entities, and the skin and tissues. We are this holistic thing. We are rolling thunder. I mean, and literally, it's coming. You know, and I keep thinking, you know, it's reminiscent of Dorothy. You know, basically after she's killed the Wicked Witch, and then she's told, "How do I get home?" Well, just click your heels. And I keep on looking for that. You know, hey, just click your heels, and this is what's going to happen as far as this. So I think that right now everything is just innate, and I think that the answers lie deep within us as far as that. And I know that sounds very too sci-fi, too deep, et cetera, but I believe with all my heart that that's what we're about, and that discovery, as far as that once we discover that, literally, I don't think we won't need cars. I think we could probably levitate and transport ourselves. And I know this sounds outlandish and sounds like some mad guy, but I think that once we figured out to how to really operate this operating system, I think that the surprise is going to be on the upside, and that's probably why I think that might explain some of the reason for abductions, the mutilation and whatever. That's just barbaric. I mean, it's horrible. And heck, I'm a big guy. I'd like to see them guys try to do that to me.
Yeah, but the problem is when you get abducted, evidently you really can't fight them. That's the whole problem. Everybody I've talked to,
well,
they're helpless while they're laying down.
Yeah, they're helpless, and I think it's the shock and awe as far as that. But I actually think that, and not to get too far off the mark, but I really think that in certain circumstances, you always hear about the mother whose husband's trapped underneath the car, and she's literally able. There's so many instances where there's the Superman or Superwoman strength comes in. Where does that come from? So I think we have it. We have it. And yeah, I've heard the dumb meter or the shock wave or whatever. But I think that there's so much stuff that we have not explored with our own bodies, our own selves. And I think once no one else. I don't believe anyone's going to tell us how to use it. Something one of those self-discovery type things. But hopefully, there's been cases where I think we can. But yeah, I just hope there is. And Gary, I'm glad you took that stuff off. It's a vexation to your spirit. You don't want to have that kind of stuff. You don't want to be looking at that stuff all the time. That really screws your. That's that precious subconscious. You don't want to have those images. You're looking at them.
No, because it was habit forming. You know what I do? Every couple months or every couple weeks, I click on this to look at it. And then I figured, hey, that's not healthy. I will say this, you're talking about our bodies and stuff, and the doctors, our medical people, don't really know how everything works. I was listening to a surgeon the other day who does heart transplants, and he claims that a heart even has intelligence, because when they take out a heart, a bad heart, they know how it's beating. And then they put this new heart into it. In a matter of a couple beats, it matches what the old heart was doing. And
it is.
And he said that it's not the brain that was doing it. It was the heart. The new heart was put in there.
It's the heart.
That it was adjusting to the body.
Hello, this is exactly right. I mean, it goes they're not separate parts. The heart has its own intelligence. It's probably they're starting to figure out that the heart has actually more capacity for everything, even more so than the brain. But again, we're finding, and like the liver and all these various organs, they're so intricately matched. It's such a fantastic thing. I guess it's the one thing I've overaged in the information I've gotten as far as all this stuff. I mean, they say, I was one of those people who didn't think he was going to live past 30. Well, guess what? I did, and had I known that I wasn't going to live past 30, I wouldn't have been so rambunctious. I wouldn't have done those things.
Yeah, it's a lot of things I wouldn't have done. I don't know if you knew. I took a couple major falls here about 3 months ago. I still am not able to walk.
I didn't know that.
I'm almost able to start using a walker at this point. I can take a couple steps, but I'll tell you. I was doing the show for the last month by, having help off the bed, putting my chair, and then getting in the studio. And then all of a sudden I was able to get off the bed and get on a chair and then, roll myself into the studio. And I tell you, a human body, the brain if you have the willpower, you find yourself adapting, and then, things start clicking back in place. But I'll tell you, when all this was going on, I had at least 2 months in my bed, because I was bedridden for almost a month and a half, actually, where I couldn't even get out of bed. my whole mind kind of changed